As he faces a criminal investigation of his own, President Trump is calling for the Justice Department to probe the Democratic National Committee instead. Here's the president speaking a short time ago.
You ought to look at Hillary Clinton, and you ought to look at the new book that was just put out by Donna Brazile, where she basically bought the DNC and she stole the election from Bernie. So that's what you ought to take a look at.
So Donna Brazile took over the DNC in July of 2016 after Debbie Wasserman Schultz was forced out over leaked emails showing her favoritism to Hillary Clinton. She says Clinton tilted the DNC in her favor by helping pay off the committee's debt nearly a year before she received the nomination. The allegations are from a new book by Brazile. Portions of it were published in Politico. She says Hillary Clinton's nomination, quote, compromised the party's integrity. CBSN political contributor and Democratic strategist Zerlina Maxwell joins me now to talk about all this. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
So you worked on the Clinton campaign, Zerlina. What do you make of Donna Brazile's allegations?
Well, I haven't read the whole book, so I just have to preface, I've only read the excerpt that was released this week. And I think that there were two fundraising agreements in 2015 and also in 2016, and both have been reported also by Politico. So a lot of what was in the excerpt this week is not new information. I should also add that Bernie Sanders had the same joint fundraising agreement with the campaign. Now, he didn't take advantage of that agreement with the campaign. He chose to fund his campaign through donations, outside donations, and not contribute to the coffers of the Democratic Party. So I think that it's sort of a nuanced point, but I think the idea that this was rigged or the process was somehow tilted in Clinton's favor is overstating what I think is a more nuanced point about the way that the Democratic Party fundraised and allocated those resources to the state parties.
Well, and I think that's the other thing that's surprising for a lot of people. She paints a picture of the DNC as being in desperate financial straits, was it?
Yes, it was. Basically, what happened after the election of President Obama in 2008, all of the financial resources were siphoned away and went towards Organizing for America, which was formerly Obama for America. So yes, she is correct that under President Obama, the DNC languished, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz didn't do a strong enough job to ensure that the DNC had money. Yes, they were broke when Hillary showed up in 2015 to start her campaign for president. And so, yes, she paid off their debt. And the joint fundraising agreement allowed the party and Hillary Clinton to fundraise, I think, what was over $500 million for the DNC.
Senator Elizabeth Warren has also come out saying the primary was tilted in favor of Hillary Clinton. I guess the question a lot of people will have is, does this give any kind of credibility to President Trump's assertion that there should be an investigation? I don't know if it would be fair to say there should be a criminal investigation, because it doesn't sound that this was illegal, but there should be an investigation nonetheless.
I think there should be transparency in how these things are done, how joint fundraising agreements are. Obviously, it is somewhat of a loophole, because through a joint fundraising agreement, you can raise above the maximum amount that under federal law you can give to an individual presidential candidate. So you can give a much larger amount to the Democratic Party as opposed directly to Hillary Clinton. So it is somewhat of a loophole. I think there needs to be transparency. Obviously, this goes to the idea that we need campaign finance reform, but that's a separate issue. What I do think that we need to do going forward is really focus on the elections that are coming up on Tuesday. So as a party, I think relitigating in 2016 doesn't really get us anywhere. And I still have trouble seeing where President Trump is now in love with Donna Brazile, saying she's absolutely correct. The primary was rigged against Bernie Sanders. The Democratic Party was broke. They don't have the strength and capacity to rig 50 elections against Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders received 4 million fewer votes. That's why he didn't become the Democratic nominee.
We also, like, as you pointed out, we don't have the book. We just have this little excerpt, and it's great buzz for the book, because everybody wants to read it now. But what if it turns out it's only those couple of pages that we read, and the book is completely about, you know, things that are not as perhaps explosive as what we've seen?
Well, that would be really unfortunate, because I think the timing couldn't be worse in terms of where the party needs to go going forward. I think that there's certainly a space for us to be more transparent as a party, and for us to focus on really what not the the enemy, but the opposition is, which is the Trump administration and the policies that they're putting forward that damage our constituencies. And so resisting that and organizing ahead of 2018, but also in the elections between now and 2018, I think that's where the party's focus needs to be. I don't think that relitigating a primary, which was so contentious, but not ultimately close in terms of the vote count, that's just looking backwards when we need to be looking forwards.
Should Democrats, as we head into an election year with midterms, should they be campaigning on being anti-Trump, or, as Nancy Pelosi has suggested, the Democrats should be focusing on being the no-drama Democrats, actually legislating, getting things done? What's your take?
Well, I've never really heard of a Democratic Party that wasn't full of drama, just because we're a coalition by design. We are a lot of different disparate interests, usually siloed, but I think we're doing a better job of thinking about things in an intersectional way. So a climate change activist can be at an LGBTQ rally, right? And I think that that's the future of the Democratic Party, and we need a both-and message. We don't need just an anti-Trump message, although I think we're not Donald Trump, vote for us is a pretty solid message, given the fact that 2 of his high campaign officials and people that were involved in his transition were indicted this week.
But you could say that. Somebody would say, yeah, but Zerlina, that was the case when Hillary Clinton was running. I'm not Donald Trump, so you vote for me because I've got all this experience, and people rejected her.
Well, I would argue with the contention that people rejected her. I would say that we don't know everything about what happened in the 2016 election. And as more information about the extent to which Russia interfered with people's perceptions of Hillary Clinton through social media and propaganda, that is the ultimate question that I think as a country we need to answer. And certainly saying that it was just Hillary's message was weak is only part of the story. And I think that she got more votes in the popular vote total. So I think, again, the narrative that, what she was putting forward as a message didn't work, it doesn't jive with the numbers.
Zerlina Maxwell, always good to have you. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you so much.